else to do instead of a PowerPoint presentation. So, hello everyone. My name is Mo, short for Mohammed, and I come from London Victorians. There are so many things I'm passionate about in life. One of them is education. This is simply because I went through it as a student, and I went through it again as a teacher. And now as a technologist, I thought it's time to change education. So my speech tonight is Education Freed. I follow a structure in this tonight speech, and that is from 3 parts basically. I will share with you guys my story through education when I was a child and what I discovered. And I have also, for education, a list of queries that perhaps some of those queries that I have, you also have, because I think the majority of you went through education, primary and secondary. In fact, by show of hands, let's just find out now. How many people actually went through education at least through primary and secondary, if you put your hand up? Great. And put your hand up again if at times you actually were bored or hated parts of it. Yes? That's almost all of us. And that's why I'm standing in front of you tonight. There is a solution, and the solution has already started. We only need to jump on the bandwagon to push it forward. So my talk tonight is going to have 3 parts. One part is the story, as I said. The other part is the queries that I have, and the other is the mission, what I want you guys to join me for, if you are convinced of my proposal. And I promise you that proposal is going to be a decent proposal. So, let's crack on. What's my story? Algebra. How many people have heard of this before? Put your hand up. Yeah? Now, this science or branch of maths is being sort of created by a guy called Muhammad al-Khwarizmi, which is in the 9th century. And so, you know, he was an astronomer, and he talked about algebra, and he wrote the book, which is the Book of Algebra, and that's where it all started. Now, I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't really get algebra, because on one page, it was like x plus y equal 5. And I was like wondering, right, okay, I think x is probably 2, and y is probably 3, and when you add them up, you get a 5. But surprise, surprise, when I turned the page, it was x plus y equal 10. Now, hold on, is it 5 or is it 10? And that just added to my confusion. And another page, it said x plus y is actually 75. And I just couldn't get my head around it, so I failed. I failed, and I kept on failing at the age of 14. I was getting, the most I could get was 40% in maths, so I failed maths. Dad, bless his soul, decided to get me a tutor. So I listened to everything the tutor told me, and I joined the public examination at the age of 14, and I got 98%. But I just couldn't get algebra. I just don't understand it. I still don't know what these letters, how do they jumble together and they come out as numbers. I just couldn't get it. So fast forward, I land in London, and suddenly I found myself in a secondary school. Suddenly I found myself in a maths class. Suddenly the teacher gives me a card to work on, and suddenly I see on the top of the card a picture of a factory machine, and underneath it is a statement. Algebra functions are like machines. On one side you can put a square, and on the other side you can get a circle. Hooray! That moment was, I understand what algebra is all about. It is just that. And so I thought to myself, okay, if education is so simple like that, why couldn't we use the same system that I learned maths in that secondary school through a card? And in fact, everybody in the classroom was working on different cards. They were independent. They're not waiting for me to finish. The teacher is not waiting for me to, or I'm waiting for the teacher to teach us on the board. Everybody was sitting in different corners and doing their own cards. And when they finish, they just go to the teacher, and the teacher will give them another card. So this is the way they learn. And that's the way I was learning maths. And then I asked myself, okay, why do I have to sit in the classroom for 60 minutes? Why should you? Why should we all have to study those only topics? Why should we study them in the same depth? Why should we? So a list of questions. And then I started to think, what can we do to bring freedom into education? So that you don't chase kids to do their work. They are already involved. They chase themselves. The force is internal, not external. Until I actually found out about many speakers like Ken Robinson, who actually has a talk on TED, and the name of the talk is Bring on the Learning Revolution. He calls it a revolution. He said we don't need a reform. We've been trying to reform education for some time, and it's not working, because the education system that we have inherited to serve the Industrial Revolution. We are just patching it up. We are just putting plasters. We're just sticking it. Yeah? The kids of today have power in their pockets in the form of smartphones. They get bored. I actually taught in a school where the child told me, "Teacher, you are boring." And I said, "I think you're right." And I did change my way to the way that I'm going to propose to you tonight, which is a system based on 3 main principles: independence, personalization, and coaching. Not teaching, coaching. Because everybody is different, everybody needs different things at different depths. So the mission is that this system is called PIMS, which I'm trying to promote, which stands for Personalized, Independent, Mentored System, where the child and his mentor will decide what are the paths that this child wants to take, and they will lead him according to how much time he needs to spend. For example, if you are doing maths and you happen to be doing fractions, it's okay for somebody to do 5 minutes on fractions and they can get it. It flashes in their head. And it's okay also for somebody else to spend 2-3 days on fractions, because we all are different. So the system I'm trying to promote is personal independent mentor system. Now, to conclude, we are all different. We are all different, and if the power comes from if the learning comes from the inside, it lasts. If it comes from the outside, it goes through from one ear and to the other ear. So what I would like you to do tonight, which is to feel that we need to have education freed. We need to free education because it is on the shackles of the old system. And here is a website that I have created that you can sign up now, because I'm creating a team. I'm creating a team for founders to start launching this. So thank you very much, and that's education free for you.